So go ahead.
All right. So we were asked to discuss whether the benefits of using social networks in the classroom outweigh the risks. We thought the logical start for that would be to look at some of the benefits of using social media in the classroom, and some of those being that it can increase students' engagement in their education. It can increase their technological proficiency because they're using different programs. It can contribute to a greater sense of collaboration in the classroom because they have the opportunity to speak with and chat with different students. It can help build better communication skills because they're communicating in different ways other than just oral communication. And it can help increase their engagement in class discussions. Social media can help students express themselves through a medium that they're already comfortable with because they're using it every day. For a lot of students, especially shy, introverted students, typing something out and taking their time to think about something is easier than just speaking off the cuff in a debate sort of situation. Back channels allow students to comment, pose questions, and shed their inhibitions about voicing their opinions in the classroom. There is the benefit that if students are texting on task about something you're discussing in class, they're less likely to be texting about something else. Nowadays, students are already trained to multitask in this way. Their minds are already geared towards hypertext. And again, social networking helps students build community and form bonds.
Okay. Con side?
Okay, so I'm just going to introduce some things. Okay, so although common issues are probably all in our packets, talked about cons of social networking being peer-to-peer harassment, cyberbullying, online predators, the risk of that, the porn, that Jason nicely and the unclear boundaries between professional and personal. We proposed some other things for social networking in the classroom, other problems including possible attention deficit where social networking becomes a distraction. Also issues with access based on students' history with technology. Some students can't easily access technology. And also there were no traditional learning environments.
So for participation comes a deficit in attention because you're constantly switching between back channel and front channel, which kind of negates the use of different types of technologies in a classroom because it prevents you from getting into a richer or deeper focused learning environment, which I'd say we can all agree on as master's students. We figured we should spend more time looking at one issue than just spreading our learning across many. It bases learning environments on the assumption of an exclusionary rule or access to technology, particularly cultural capital that informs you how to use technology. So to integrate a learning environment with digital tools assumes that people know how to use them already, when in actuality they don't. That's what you go to school for. And finally, it erodes the traditional values that are in education, basically saying that analog tools aren't working, and our argument is if it's not broke, don't fix it, so why do this? A solution could be to start a new digital literacy track that is based on vocation and what people want to get out of different digital tools, and allows students as they go through the K-12 program into higher education to better focus their learning and say, I need access to digital tools and knowledge how to use them, social media, digital media, whatever, so in different phases in their academic life they can take those classes better than integrating.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to start with the if it's not broke, don't fix it. And I would argue that it is broke. I think we talked earlier today about the fact that the retention rate for state colleges and universities is traditionally below 50%. That there isn't a robust technical school system in the United States except for for-profit colleges. So colleges and universities, and especially community colleges, are really the place where people are going in order to better themselves. And with that in mind, I think that you're right. People don't come in knowing how to do it, but that doesn't mean we can't use them. It just means we have to teach them how to do it. And with that in mind, I think actually the classroom is the best place to introduce students to these tools because it allows us to introduce them as part of a larger context instead of divorcing personal or private and professional, which I think is more and more eroding, especially as we've seen in the last week where employers are asking for Facebook passwords, are asking people to log into Facebook. This personal and private divide doesn't exist as it did once. So I think, especially as someone who teaches professional and technical writing, these tools, things like LinkedIn and Twitter, which really are things that professionals are using, that businesses are using to get word out about jobs, where jobs are appearing on Twitter and LinkedIn before they're ever appearing in the traditional places, says that we have to be responsible as writing educators, as technical and professional educators, to help students navigate these tools. And that in that way, we might actually be able to help with this access issue, especially if we argue that access is really about cultural access to the knowledge about technology. Since technology is getting cheaper, it really is this deficit of cultural understanding of how these fit into larger contexts. And I think we can give them that. In particular, I want to point out that technical engineering professional organizations are actually teaching classes at their professional meetings on social media, and that these professional organizations appear on Facebook and LinkedIn and are telling their professionals, even older professionals and heads of companies, that they need to be in these social media places because young, new, smart minds are appearing in these places and talking about important issues in these places. I think we see that in here too. A lot of us blog or tweet, and we have access to relationships that we wouldn't have access to otherwise.
Saying that the system is broke from which we are in right now basically negates any agency that we as educators would have to affect the context in the way that you're saying. So another problem is that saying that an integrated context where technology use is in every classroom and involved in every aspect of learning breaks the frame of learning context which prepare people for a more diverse, more culturally layered experience they might experience in their life, trying to get a job, whatever that may be. And I would argue, too, that somebody who wants to be a painter in their life needs different skills with technology than somebody who wants to, say, work at a bank, or somebody who wants to be a chemical engineer. Maybe we can create learning contexts, right, which respect the traditional values that we've come to, build in the academy over thousands of years, and recognize those as valuable, but then also give them an option, which is our resolution, to create some type of vocational program or different literacy track for technological learning. That goes right hand in hand with math, English, science, from K through 12 on, right? So we make sure we don't assume that students are already coming to the classroom with skills that might make their learning environment and make that educational context not good for them, hard to pay attention, hard to use, right? Hard to be involved in. If a student doesn't know how to use Facebook or social network sites or Twitter or the back channels you propose to have so many benefits, then we can't ever think that they're going to get anything out of the classroom. Better we teach them in the classroom first and then have a whole class setting where they can learn how to use those tools. Perhaps then they can integrate it themselves. Right? I think that's really what it comes down to.
Great. Okay.